A lot of people do not talk about the fact that Dubai actually does have an income tax. But if you go onto the government's website at u.ae, you will see that the income tax is 0%. However, just because Dubai doesn't have an income tax, it doesn't mean that you don't have to pay an income tax. So let me explain why some people that are living here in Dubai and have a company here in Dubai are still subject to taxation. Because unfortunately, many consultants and many advisors who do not know the tax implications in your home country will just tell you that it's fine, living here is good enough, you don't have to pay any tax if your business is here, but they don't know that you do have to fulfill some requirements. So let's go over exactly what you need to know if you actually want to make sure that you are not paying any taxes legally. So number one, you have to spend at least, and I mean at least 90 days per year in Dubai or in the UAE, whatever Emirates, it does not matter. At least 90 days per year from January to the end of December needs to be spent here in Dubai. Now, this will grant you basically level 1, which is tax residency, personal tax residency, domestic tax residency. And this will grant you a certificate if you apply for it. It's not going to be automatically given to you. You have to apply for this certificates alone or with your accountants, and you can get this. But it's not a mandatory thing, and it's not issued automatically. And if you go a step further and spend 6 months here, you can get what's called international tax residency, which will grant you another certificate, of course, if you apply for it again. However, if you do not spend the 90 days at least or more, well, in this case, you have nothing. You can apply for nothing if you even wanted to. So let's say your business was set up here, you were traveling around the world or even in your home country, and you were here for less than 90 days. Well, in that case, you are not a taxable resident here. Just because your business is registered here, it does not mean that you're not liable to paying those taxes. So it's very important to spend at least 90 days per year here in Dubai. And it doesn't have to be consecutively, but it should be throughout the year, at least. Okay, now let's go to the second side of things. Let's say you do spend the 90 days here, but you spent a lot of time in another country. Let's say you spent 90 days in Canada and 90 days here in Dubai. Well, in that case, Canada or the UK or Australia, whatever country, might tag you as a taxable resident in that country as well. So you might be a tax resident here, but you might also be a tax resident in those other countries, which means you're liable to tax in both countries. So 0% here and whatever percent in that other country, which is often very high. Let's say you make 250,000 Canadian dollars in Canada. Well, your tax rate is going to be basically taking away 100,000 Canadian dollars, bringing your 250,000 down to 150,000. Taking away $100,000 is very painful. So it's important to spend a lot more time in the country where you want to be a taxable resident, so that you can show the authorities that yes, I was in this country a lot more, I was actually working here, operating here, living here, and not play the game of spending, 90 days here and then 90 days in Canada. That is a very dangerous game. And if you spend even more time in another country, for example, Canada, you spend, let's say, 100 days in Canada and 90 days here, well, just because you're a tax resident here, it doesn't mean you're a tax resident only here. Again, like I said, in that case, you spent more time in another country, so that country probably has more right over you in terms of taxation. Now, let's go over another situation. Let's say you spend 180 days here, or even 365 days here in Dubai, but you have a primary residence or very, very strong ties in your home country. Well, then in that case, that home country could still tax you as a taxable resident, even though you were not there at all, because it's very important to remove these ties. So it's really important to consult the proper tax consultants so that they can guide you. Because in Canada, if you have a primary residence or you have spouse or a dependent in that country and they are not with you in the UAE, well, then you can be tagged as a taxable resident no matter how long you've been here in Dubai for. So it's very important to, number one, spend a lot of time here in Dubai. Number two, establish as many ties as possible here in Dubai. Banking, financial center of life, where you stay, where you live, where you work here in Dubai. Have all of these ties so that it's actually like you're living here, and not just like you're trying to show people that you're living here. Actually live here if you want to make sure that you're paying no taxes. Of course, there's some people who do not even live here at all and they're paying no taxes, but that's not the proper way to do it. And if they told you it's okay, just come here every 6 months to keep your visa alive and then go and travel to Bali or go travel to Phuket, Thailand, and you'll be fine. You don't have to pay any taxes. That is not correct. Just because they're not paying the tax doesn't mean they're not paying it legally. Okay, and here at GenZone, we want to ensure that you're doing things legally. So it's important to spend enough time here, have many ties here in Dubai, and of course, cut off your ties to your home country and become a non-resident in the country where you do not want to pay any tax. So if you decided that you're ready to move here to Dubai to legally reduce your taxes down to essentially zero, then book a call with us, because of course it's very important that you do it right. We'll ensure that your business is set up properly, your residency is done properly and fast, of course, and we'll ensure that your banking is also taken care of, because if you want to legally reduce your taxes, you have to do all this properly, and you need to know what to do after it's set up and even before the company is set up. Because if you just wanted to illegally avoid taxes and not actually live here for a part of the year, then it's probably better off just staying in your home country and not declaring it, which is not the goal. If you're planning on moving here, you're actually trying to do it legally. So ensure that you're using the right consultants. We'll take good care of you. Just book a call down below and we will ensure that everything is done properly.